You're born alone, you'll die alone, so get comfortable being alone. Death doesn't scare me. I've come to my own conclusions in my spiritual journey about death, and I'm at the point of realization where we don't actually die. We die in the physical sense, we die in the three-dimensional sense, but we are always here, we're energy. And one way that I can explain it to people to help them cope with the concept of death or make them a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing out here in the world is think of a plant, how it grows, produces fruit, dies, the circle of life. When you die, your body goes back into the ground, and what your body was might go into the roots of a tree, and maybe the ashes and the remains from your body goes through that tree, through the soil, and then the tree produces a fruit. The fruit falls, a bird eats it, a bird goes to the bathroom, the seed goes and starts another tree, and it's always here. So the stuff that makes you, this physical body that we occupy, the stuff that makes you is always here, it's always been here, it's always going to be here. And it's kind of a complicated subject based on where everyone's at in their own spiritual journey. But just to help people cope with it, I know nobody wants to die prematurely, nobody wants to die tragic, but just the concept of death, it's part of nature, it's part of life. Just get used to it. Get used to the fact that you were born alone, you're going to die alone, and I don't mean that in a morbid way. I mean that in a way like, stop going to the bar with people that don't want to talk about health or goals or success or life or just like being happy or positive or what we're doing here as people. Get around positive energy. Get around people that tackle life by the horns, that aren't afraid of the big questions, that actually grow, people that add to the collective consciousness so that we can all evolve. Death isn't scary when you just actually know how to talk about it. You know, the guy next to you making more money isn't scary when you just know how to talk about it. The guy next to you being black or Asian or Mexican or white isn't scary when you just know how to talk about it. Sure, he has a different culture, different views, different quirks, different personality, different trauma in his life that led to different psychology and different ways of his personality being. So you meet someone for the first time, a different religion, different race, different whatever, they come from a different background. So instead of getting triggered, just try to understand the person. We all bleed red. We all try to get a job or make money or provide for our families or live or just get by to the next day. We all have times of being happy and sad, laughing, crying. We're born, we die. We all do the same thing. This whole illusion of the next guy is different than you is just that. It's an illusion. You're not different than the next person. It's a lot of media, a lot of just influence from other people about like why we should be divided or why that other person's different than you. When you really break it down and read between the lines, they're not so much different than you. And you just have to really embrace the spiritual nature of what this is. It's all balanced. It's all 50-50, yin and yang. It's man and woman, night and day, birth and death. It's all part of the cycle. And if you really understand these deeper spiritual concepts, you'll be more able to cope with the concept of death if that's something that is scary for you. I know it's something that a lot of people think about but don't really talk about because, you know, we're living. So for me, like, I don't go around thinking like, oh, I'm gonna die. I'm not like morbid like that. I like life. I like being here. But I don't necessarily want to be here forever. I accept the temporary nature of it because that's the way that it just is. So it is what it is, and I accept it, and I'm here for my journey and my purpose and what I need to do, and just so be it. So I'm trying to be healthy, trying to have other people be healthy, trying to grow as a community, grow as people, do something in this life that adds to the collective consciousness that helps the next generation, and that's all you can do. You know, we all want to do things to be someone in the world or change the world or be a leader or be like this big man or what you think is being a man, and that's all great stuff. You should attach purpose to your life. But also, we're only one person, so don't stress yourself with your place or how you stack up to people or your comparisons, because all you can do is what you can do. You can't control things that you can't control. So just take a breath, do some meditation, control the things that you can control. Don't get caught up in this three-dimensional bullshit of what everyone wants you to do, how they want you to live, the stress that other people put on you. Really cope with the fact that you are going to die one day and just live with it and understand it on a spiritual level. Everyone's going to go through it. So try to understand everybody's in the same boat as you. The guy next to you that you might not ever talk to or hang out normally with, he's in that boat. Whether you consciously are aware of it or not, he's probably thinking the same things you're thinking. So when you realize how equal we all are, it'll help cope with death. It'll help cope with what's going on out here and the purpose of your life and just the realization that you are going to die. And it's not a morbid thing. It doesn't have to be. Just accept it. Understand that we're all on the same journey, all on the same track. We all bleed red. Doesn't matter, man, woman, gay, straight, 6'5", 5'2". None of that matters. It doesn't mean anything. Money, you can't take it with you. Going back into the ground, and your body, your remains are going to go in the soil. Other plants are going to grow. They might produce fruit. The fruit falls. A bird eats it. The bird shits it out. Seed grows back in the soil, and a new plant grows, and this cycle continues. This, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and that's just how it goes. So understand it on a spiritual level. Take a breath. And obviously you don't want to die prematurely. You don't want to die in a tragic way. So do your part in helping the next person get along. Let's try to make it easier for each other than harder, and we'll all get there eventually based on where we're at in the spiritual journey.